Within the formation, the area was filled with Xiao Yan's vast spiritual energy. The Tribulation spirit, whose strength had already been diminished by Mu Yingying's mysterious power, roared furiously, clearly enraged by her actions. To think that the mysterious energy absorbed from the Xinling Imperial Pool could actually suppress the Tribulation spirit with such terrifying effectiveness. If this Tribulation spirit had reached the perfect 6-star Do D level, it would be an enormous threat to me. I might even have to resort to that power, though it would gradually erode my will. But for now, since it's only at the early 6-star Do D stage, although it's still a considerable danger, I can hold out until it fully recovers. Mu Yingying thought to herself. Roar, roar, roar. The Tribulation spirit let out a deafening sound, and the lightning power that had dimmed under the golden energy surged back to life, although it was clearly not as strong as before. Swish, swish. The Tribulation spirit moved at an incredible speed, resembling a human with arms and legs, though its body was massive. It charged forward, raising a fist filled with thunderous lightning, striking fiercely at Mu Yingying. Hmph! Mu Yingying snorted softly, her figure flashing as she effortlessly dodged what seemed to be a terrifying blow. The Tribulation spirit, intelligent in its own right, showed no hesitation when it saw her evade. It attacked again with renewed vigor. This time, the Tribulation spirit seemed to have learned from its previous attempt. Instead of launching a direct assault, it clenched its fists, allowing lightning to surge from within, slowly forming a ball of electricity before its chest. The ball crackled with small arcs of lightning, tiny but enough to make Mu Yingying's scalp tingle. This Tribulation spirit's lightning power is unlike ordinary lightning. It contains a destructive force. If that ball hits, it could cause serious injury. Mu Yingying wasn't in a good position. Even though the golden energy had forcibly suppressed the Tribulation spirit's power to the early 6-star Do D level, Mu Yingying herself was only a 5-star Do D. Moreover, the Tribulation spirit was continuously emitting an overwhelming lightning aura, forcing her to stay vigilant. Go! The Tribulation spirit let out a slow word, and the ball of destructive lightning suddenly shot towards Mu Yingying. As it streaked through the sky, the lightning ball caused no ripples or disturbances, yet this very stillness made even Xiao Yan react. Tisk, tsk. The power of that lightning ball. Even I would have to give it my all. A single mistake, and if that destructive lightning touches me, it wouldn't kill me, but it'd surely peel off a layer of skin, Xiao Yan remarked. Haha, don't underestimate anyone who wields sacred flame, Heart Rock said indifferently, unconcerned about whether Mu Yingying would succeed. To him, her victory was only a matter of time, thanks to the sacred flame, and only Heart Rock, as the spirit of the sacred flame, knew its true power. Even Xiao Yan, at his current level, couldn't fully unleash the true might of the Fireheart Heavenly Rock's sacred flame. If he wanted to do so, his strength would have to reach at least 9-star Do D. Just watch, she's about to use the pure power of sacred flame. As the lightning ball neared Mu Yingying, Heart Rock spoke calmly. I thought this thing would be more of a threat, but now that I see it, this Tribulation spirit formed from the 8-colored thundercloud isn't that frightening after all. Mu Yingying murmured, a dangerous smile forming at the corner of her lips. Her eyes suddenly flashed with a sharp, icy light. At this moment, her eyes glowed with an eerie mix of deep blue and flickers of strange fire, giving her a sinister appearance. Ice. Ice seal. With a cold snort, the words left Mu Yingying's red lips. As her authoritative voice rang out, the destructive lightning ball, just meters from her, suddenly froze in midair. Simultaneously, a brilliant blue flame surged from the sacred flame crystal embedded in her chest. Though the flame seemed small, the moment it appeared, Xiao Yan immediately felt a reverence stir deep within him, not just from the 23 fused heavenly flames within him, but even from the sacred flame crystal of the Fireheart Heavenly Rock. Both emitted an aura of worship. Swish! The moment Mu Yingying's words faded, a ripple of pure blue flame spread out from her feet, expanding like waves in all directions. Wherever the terrifying flame passed, icy threads filled the air, even freezing the destructive lightning ball before her, stripping it of its vitality. The Tribulation spirit, sensing something had changed in Mu Yingying, began trembling violently. Realizing the unusual nature of the flame, it quickly condensed into pure lightning energy and launched itself at her in desperation. Clearly, the Tribulation spirit had realized that its lightning was ineffective against the strange fire enveloping Mu Yingying, so it compressed itself, preparing to self-destruct in a final attempt to destroy her with the immense power of the blast. You, a mere Tribulation spirit, dare to challenge me. Mu Yingying, her blue eyes gleaming with icy arrogance, spoke disdainfully, her entire being exuding a cold, unapproachable aura. Before she finished speaking, the energy released from the self-destruction of the Tribulation spirit was immediately frozen, reduced to mere powder and dispersed into nothingness. With the danger gone, Mu Yingying calmly reached out and absorbed the sacred flame crystal back into her body. Cough, cough. As soon as the sacred flame crystal returned to her, her eyes reverted to their deep black hue, and her aura weakened noticeably. How strange. What secret does Mu Yingying carry? Those blue eyes. They even made my soul tremble. Xiao Yin stood to the side, feeling somewhat helpless throughout Mu Yingying's tribulation. It was puzzling that the self-detonation power of the early 6-star Do-D Tribulation spirit was instantly broken. Given Mu Yingying's overwhelming power, why had she come to the Incense Pavilion? It didn't quite add up. Moreover, the Mu Yingying with azure blue eyes seemed like a completely different person from the one with deep black eyes. This was the doubt in Xiao Yan's heart. It seems this girl has more secrets than I thought. The sacred flame spirit, heart rock, within Xiao Yan's body slowly muttered, then fell silent. Are you okay? Xiao Yan swiftly approached and asked as soon as he saw that Mu Yingying had successfully passed her tribulation. I'm fine. Mu Yingying weakly sat cross-legged on the ground, coughing violently a few times, clearly showing that her condition wasn't good. Here, take this. Xiao Yan, not wanting to waste any more time, handed her some medicinal pills directly. Those blue eyes earlier. Mu Yingying accepted the pills and swallowed them, her condition improving slightly. Although I don't know what that was, it's best if you use it sparingly. I've got a bad feeling about it, Xiao Yan said, not having the habit of prying into others' secrets. Let's go. The team competition has already started. With that, Mu Yingying, looking as though nothing had happened, stood up gracefully and lightly jogged forward, like a celestial maiden descended to the mortal world, calling out to Xiao Yan. 3 days passed quickly during Mu Yingying's tribulation. Afterward, Xiao Yan and the others headed to the team competition's gathering point, where chaos had already broken out. Hey, did you hear? Hear what? It's about the Heaven Hall. They say a team of 5 from Heaven Hall was supposed to participate. Given their strength, everyone knows they'd have been the uncontested champions. But for some reason, Heaven Hall suddenly announced their withdrawal from this year's competition, leaving only Human Hall and us from Earth Hall. It's really strange. That's nothing. I heard that even the registered disciples from Human Hall were allowed to join this team competition. Down below the domain of scorched heavens in the Incense Pavilion, thousands of disciples chattered endlessly. What do you think Xiao Yan's strength is now? A man in plain clothes within the crowd smiled faintly. Every time Xiao Yan's name came up, a smile crept onto his lips. This man was none other than Li Ji, one of the 3 leaders among the 128 registered disciples who had once faced Xiao Yan and his group when they first joined Human Hall. Li Ji, have you forgotten Xiao Yan's strength? Back when he challenged us, his boldness was unmatched. The broad-shouldered man beside Li Ji chuckled softly. Li Ji, don't let the pain fade with the scars. If I recall correctly, you didn't fare too well back then either, Li Ji replied, his expression unmoved. But anyone could see that, despite the banter, it didn't affect the two at all. Clearly, their bond was quite strong. These 3 were the most powerful among Human Hall's registered disciples. Li Ji had already reached the late 5-star Do-D stage. Li Zi, a pure powerhouse, had also reached the late 5-star Do-D stage. As for their leader, Zilian, He had terrifyingly reached the level of a perfect 5-star Do D. Heh, I'm quite eager to see how strong Xiao Yin has become. I heard just a few days ago that this kid even defeated Wang Chun from Earth Hall. That really lifted my spirits, Li Zi muttered to himself. This kid is indeed terrifying. Back when he was only a 4-star Do D, he gave us a hard time. Now, his strength must be even more frightening. Zilian scanned the crowd, but there was no sign of Xiao Yin. All he saw were the cheering Earth Hall disciples. As for the Human Hall disciples, only about 100 or so were present. Wang Qin's strength is at the mid-6-star Do D stage. For Xiao Yin to defeat him so easily, it means this kid must have had some fortuitous encounter in the 5 years he left Human Hall. Otherwise, there's no way he could have beaten Wang Chun. Li Ji continued. But I must admit, this kid is the pride of our Human Hall. Zilian added before moving off to comfort some of the registered disciples. Seriously? How is it that registered disciples are allowed to compete in what's supposed to be our Incense Pavilion's grand event? An Earth Hall disciple muttered discontentedly. What's the sect thinking? Even though Earth Hall had thousands of disciples, only a few dozen were truly powerful. Little Demoness is here, someone suddenly shouted from the crowd, causing the bustling noise to abruptly die down as the disciples made way for her. Sigh. What a disgrace. But who could have known that Xiao Yin from Human Hall had hidden his strength so deeply? Wang Chun, standing beside Ling Xian, the little Demoness, smiled faintly. With his power, it wasn't hard for him to sense the dissatisfaction of the Earth Hall disciples around him. Fifth senior brother, let's go. Ignoring the reactions of the Earth Hall disciples, the little Demoness strode straight ahead. Huh, where's Xiao Yin? I don't see him in Human Hall's ranks, the little Demoness muttered, scanning the area as she reached the front of the domain of Scorched Heavens, as if searching for someone. While she was still looking around, the sparse group of registered Human Hall disciples suddenly stirred. Several familiar figures made their way toward Li Ji and the others. Heh, isn't this senior brother Li Ji? Mu Feng and his companions didn't look down on Li Ji and the other named disciples at all. In fact, they admired them even more. Mu Feng knew that named disciples had to work much harder than formal disciples. You three are the only ones here? Li Ji glanced around and hesitated when he realized only 3 people had arrived. My brother is on his way, Little Li explained. Thanks to the special connection between him and Xiao Yin. Little Li already knew that Xiao Yin and the others had successfully passed their tribulation and were rushing over. However, the restriction on flying above the Incense Pavilion on Mount Hua had delayed them significantly. Your strength? Zilian suddenly remarked, somewhat surprised. She knew that before entering the Human Hall, these 3 had only been at the level of perfect 4-star Do D. Yet now, their strength made even Zilian feel overwhelmed. Hee, Mu Feng smiled but remained silent. So, how does this team competition work? Lu Di, standing to the side, asked softly. The moment she spoke, Li Ji paused. He and the others were quite fearful of Lu Di's poisonous abilities. See that circular platform above the domain of Scorched Heavens? Li Ji said slowly, gesturing towards it. The rules for the team competition will be explained there. For some reason, I feel uneasy, Little Li murmured, sensing that something was about to happen. He scanned the area. Where are the people from Heaven Hall? He noticed only disciples from the Human Hall and Earth Hall were present. The Heaven Hall disciples were sent on a mission, so only we from the Human Hall and Earth Hall are participating in this competition, Zilian explained. By my estimate, the combined teams from both halls should reach several hundred. Several hundred? Little Yi's heart sank. Even if the Human Hall included the named disciples, they couldn't field more than 10 teams. That meant more than 90% of the teams would be from the Earth Hall. There's nothing we can do about it, Zilian said, noticing Little Yi's concern. We have fewer disciples in the Human Hall, but no need to worry too much. It's a 5-person team event, and the final rules haven't been clearly defined yet. It seems Earth Hall is determined to win the championship this time, Little Li muttered, watching the Earth Hall disciples, whose eyes burned with eagerness. Quiet. As the discussions continued, an elder slowly walked out onto the circular platform above the domain of Scorched Heavens. His voice boomed like thunder, echoing in everyone's minds. Quiet! The voice, filled with Do Chi, reverberated throughout the entire plaza, silencing the crowd instantly. The disciples looked up to see the elder standing at the forefront of the platform, followed by two middle-aged men. Sharp-eyed individuals recognized that the people beside the elder were none other than Bear Yuan, the Vice Hall Master of Earth Hall, and Mu Suzi, the Vice Hall Master of Human Hall. Bear Yuan, known for his hefty build, was often called Fat Uncle by Earth Hall disciples. Despite his appearance, his strength was undeniable. Mu Suzi, on the other hand, was mild-mannered, but as a Vice Hall Master, his reputation was far from undeserved. "Greetings, disciples of the Incense Pavilion," the elder began, smiling as his voice echoed across the plaza. "I am Elder Qing, the Vice Hall Master of Heaven Hall. We three old men will be hosting and supervising the team competition today." "What?" The crowd buzzed in surprise at the mention of Elder Qing. The Heaven Hall disciples had always numbered exactly 7. It wasn't just strength that was required to enter Heaven Hall, but also unwavering determination and selflessness. Everyone knew that Heaven Hall represented the true power of the Incense Pavilion. Not only the 7 disciples, but also the Hall Master and Vice Hall Master possessed terrifying strength. "I'm sure you all know what today is," Elder Qing continued, smiling at the disciples below. "Today is the grand event of our Incense Pavilion, the team competition. The individual competition is over, and many outstanding disciples have emerged thanks to your hard work," he said. As soon as he finished, waves of excitement swept through the crowd below. Although the individual competition had proven many disciples' impressive abilities, the team competition was where the real excitement lay. The individual competition champion earned the privilege of entering the Do Technique Pavilion and the chance to join Heaven Hall, but the rewards for winning the team competition were far greater, including access to the highest tiers of the Blessed Lands of Cultivation. The Blessed Lands of Cultivation, ranked from 1 to 9, were considered the best places for training. Rumors about the treasures hidden in these lands had been circulating for ages. The 9th level land, the highest of all, was said to hold unimaginable benefits. Seeing the crowd's eagerness, Bear Yuan stepped forward, his bulky figure exuding an invisible pressure. "Since you can't wait, I'll explain the competition rules," he said with a hearty laugh. As soon as he spoke, the disciples felt the pressure from his overwhelming presence. "The Incense Pavilion team competition starts today," Bear Yuan announced. The rules, 5-person teams, formed freely. There are no restrictions between the Human Hall and Earth Hall. Once your team is formed, you must register and receive a team token. With a flick of his wrist, 3 types of team tokens, green, yellow, and red, appeared in his hand. The green is the easiest, and the red is the most dangerous, but the greater the danger, the richer the rewards, Xiong Yuan said, a slight smile forming at the corner of his mouth. "Team tokens? Why is this team competition different from the previous ones? I clearly remember that in past competitions, it was a straightforward face-off to decide the winner. Why is this one so complicated?" The disciples below started murmuring among themselves. "Ling Xian, do you know why this team competition is like this?" Wang Chun, surrounded by many Earth Hall disciples, asked the little demoness. "I don't know. Father has been very secretive about this competition, and he hasn't even told me anything," Ling Xian replied with a hint of dissatisfaction, her gaze fixed on the 3 people in the sky. "Is that so?" Wang Chun frowned upon hearing this. Ling Xian was, after all, the cherished daughter of the Earth Hall's Hall Master. If even she was unaware, this competition was bound to be anything but simple. As he pondered, Wang Chun scanned the crowd and spotted several of the Human Hall's disciple leaders, including Mu Feng. "What is going on with this team competition?" Mu Feng, having just listened to Xiong Yuan, asked in confusion. "The Incense Pavilion's team competitions have always been straightforward 5-person battles. This business with team tokens has never happened before," Li Ji, standing beside him, remarked, clearly puzzled by Xiong Yuan's earlier words. "I think this competition is different because of the upcoming sect trials," Zilian, who had been quiet all along, suggested. "As for the specifics of this competition, The details will appear on your team tokens after you collect them. But let me warn you all first, Xiong Yuan's voice rang out once more. This competition will be far more dangerous than any previous ones, but the rewards will also be greater. And now, I'll announce something else. His eyes locked onto a figure in the crowd below, mumbling, "This kid's strength. It might even surpass some of the elders." Xiong Yuan's gaze was fixed on Little E, making him feel an ominous chill. Little E from the human hall is disqualified from this competition. A sudden wave of pressure spread through the air. Damn it! Little E bit his lip, glaring furiously at Xiong Yuan. As for the reason, I believe you know, Xiong Yuan added with a slow smile. Little E's fiery energy began to stir within him, ready to explode. This competition included brother Xiaoyan, and he couldn't afford to miss it. Disqualified means disqualified. Just as Little E was about to demand an explanation, a large hand landed on his shoulder. "Big brother," Little E muttered without turning his head, recognizing the figure before him. For some reason, Little E always felt a deep sense of closeness toward Xiaoyan, almost like a sense of reliance. "Big brother, I?" Little E lowered his head, as if trying to express something. "Don't worry. Even though you can't compete, I'll still bring the championship home." Xiaoyan smiled, exuding a confident yet dangerous aura. She succeeded? Lu Di, standing nearby, observed Mu Yingying closely and noticed an extraordinary force within her, one that resembled the power of life and death. This was a clear sign of her successful tribulation. Yes. Mu Yingying nodded softly, her eyes turning toward the three elders in the sky. Little E is disqualified because of his special status in the human hall, Xiong Yuan explained. But as compensation, I'm adding a new member to your team. Mid-6-star Do Di, Ling Xian of Earth Hall. Xiong Yuan's expression turned strange as he finished speaking. What? As soon as Xiong Yuan's words dropped, the crowd erupted in shock. Our Earth Hall's senior sister Ling Xian is joining the Human Hall's team? Are you kidding me? Senior sister Ling Xian is a mid-6-star Do Di. Adding her to the Human Hall's team would only drag her down. As far as I know, aside from Xiaoyan, whose strength is hard to gauge, the strongest person in the Human Hall is only at the perfect 5-star Do Di level. One of Ling Xian's fellow disciples grumbled in dissatisfaction. Silence! Xiong Yuan didn't hesitate. With a sharp command, an invisible wave of pressure instantly spread out. Joining the Human Hall? The Human Hall team is currently based at Bamboo Pavilion. Originally, there were 5 members, but now, with Little E disqualified, they're down to 4. Wang Chun continued analyzing alongside Ling Xian. It's worth noting that for me, a mid-6-star Do Di, to say that I can't fathom Xiaoyan's strength speaks volumes about the intimidation he displayed during our last confrontation in the arena. Ling Xian, what do you think? Xiong Yuan asked with a smile, his eyes locking onto her from the sky. Even though the decision came from the Earth Hall's Hall Master, Xiong Yuan still felt uneasy about the little demoness. After all, she had been pampered in the Earth Hall her entire life. Sending her out for some hardening might be a good thing, but if she refused, the whole plan would fall apart. An idea likely orchestrated by her father, the Hall Master. I agree. Ling Xian blinked her long lashes thoughtfully before replying. Despite her pampered lifestyle in the Earth Hall, Ling Xian had never forgotten her first encounter with Xiaoyan. He had effortlessly neutralized her attack and defeated Wang Chun without breaking a sweat. This left a lasting impression on her prideful self, stirring some complex emotions toward him. Damn it, this troublemaker, Xiaoyan muttered to himself, realizing that disqualifying Little E and forcing Ling Xian into the team was clearly a premeditated move. Form your own teams, then come to me to register and collect your team badges. The specifics of the team competition are all recorded on the badge, Xiong Yuan said with a faint smile. As soon as he finished, the crowd below began to stir. Many people clearly hadn't found a suitable team yet. Let's go. I'll take you there first, Wang Chun said kindly, glancing at his junior sister by his side with a smile. Ling Xian, lost in thought, slowly followed Wang Chun. Hey, brother Xiaoyan, since your team is ready, we'll head off first, said Li Ji, who was standing beside Xiaoyan. After speaking, he left the square and made his way toward the registration area. "Big brother, what now?" Little E asked, somewhat puzzled as to why Xiaoyan had just held him back. But he knew Xiaoyan had his reasons, so he asked nonetheless. "No rush. Since you can't join the team competition, just stay at Bamboo Pavilion and consolidate the power within you. I have a feeling you're about to break through," Xiaoyan whispered. "Yeah, I felt some signs of advancing, but I need just a bit more power." Little E nodded thoughtfully. It was no surprise to Little E. His existence was the result of the fusion of Xiaoyan's heavenly flames. Now, Little E was in the second stage of being a fire spirit. Though his strength had already reached the perfect 8-star Do-D level, advancing further would require breaking into the third stage of the fire spirit. Only then could he continue to grow stronger. "Don't worry. If there's a chance in this team competition, I'll bring back something useful for you," Xiaoyan smiled. "All right, I'll head back now. If anything urgent happens, just call me. No matter where you are, I'll come," Little E said seriously. "Okay." Xiaoyan nodded. He shared a special connection with Little E, one that even he couldn't fully understand. This bond not only allowed them to temporarily fuse bodies, but also sense each other's life and death. "Let's go. We should check out that space first," said the three elders in the sky before disappearing. "Xiaoyan, hello? I'm Ling Xian." Wang Chun led Ling Xian over to Xiaoyan. Ling Xian took a step forward, extending her hand toward Xiaoyan. "Hello, Xiaoyan." Xiaoyan was somewhat reluctant to talk to Ling Xian, but there were too many people around, many of whom were from the Earth Hall, so he extended his hand to her as well. As soon as Ling Xian's delicate hand touched Xiaoyan's, she felt a surge of searing heat coming from his palm. What is going on inside Xiaoyan? How could the power of his flame be so terrifying? Ling Xian thought to herself. With her experience and status, she'd met countless people, yet she'd never encountered someone with such a vast flame power as Xiaoyan. Is this girl trying to probe me? Xiaoyan immediately sensed Ling Xian's intentions. He frowned slightly but quickly let it go. "If you want to see, then go ahead. Let's see if your mid-6-star Do-D strength can handle the waves," Xiaoyan thought with a sly smile, letting Ling Xian do as she pleased. "Sister Ling Xian, isn't it time to let go?" Wang Chun, unaware that Ling Xian was probing Xiaoyan, noticed the handshake lasting a little too long and hurriedly spoke up. "Ahem." Ling Xian coughed awkwardly and slowly released her grip. "You're strong," Ling Xian said, her playful demeanor replaced with seriousness as she looked at Xiaoyan. "Let's go register for our team badges," Xiaoyan responded, ignoring Ling Xian's comment, and started walking in the opposite direction. Acting all tough. "One day, I'll beat you so badly you'll regret showing off in front of me," Ling Xian muttered, stomping her foot in frustration before following them. "Heh, since when did the junior sister become so easygoing? Looks like Xiaoyan really is her nemesis. I thought the hall master would place the junior sister on our team. Didn't expect her to be excluded. With our combined strength, we from Earth Hall are sure to take first place. Yeah, and that Do skill and the 9th rank blessed land of cultivation will be ours. If I can enter that place, my strength might soar." Wang Chun said gleefully as Ling Xian left, immediately heading off to find his team. As for the Earth Hall elites Wang Chen mentioned, they undoubtedly included the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th senior brothers, but who the last member would be remained unclear. The real show is about to begin, many disciples thought to themselves, filled with anticipation. With Elder Qing's summoning concluded, the Incense Pavilion disciples eagerly scrambled to form teams. To secure a high ranking and earn significant rewards in the team competition, individual strength was important. However, the strength of the entire team was even more crucial in this unpredictable competition. The Incense Pavilion was bustling with activity that day. The sheer number of people created an impressive scene. When Xiaoyan and his group left the domain of Scorched Heavens and arrived at the registration area, they realized they'd been mistaken. They'd expected the place to be quiet, but when they arrived, the registration area was already packed. The sight of thousands of teams lining up made them feel instantly drained. The 5 of them slowly made their way to the back of the line. Ling Xian, at the end of the group, blinked her long lashes as if deep in thought. "What? A disciple from the Earth Hall slowly spoke ahead of Xiao Yin and his group. Our senior brother from Earth Hall is still in seclusion, so now the second, third, fourth, and fifth senior brothers have formed the strongest team. With Heaven Hall withdrawing from the competition, I believe this time, the first place in the team battle will surely be theirs. Second senior brother, fifth senior brother. Doesn't that make just 4 people? Someone from the group asked, puzzled. No idea. But even with just these 4, their strength is terrifying. I doubt the last member will be any weaker. Do you know the rules for this competition? The leader asked again. The competition rules? Aren't they only revealed after you receive your team token? The people talking were clearly from one team, exchanging questions and answers. However, the rest of the nearby groups fell silent. The information being discussed by this 5-man team was something the other teams seemed unaware of, so everyone quieted down to listen. This time, there are 3 types of team tokens: green, yellow, and red. They say the teams with the green tokens have relatively simple tasks, like escorting something. These are mostly chosen by teams at the early 5-star Do D level. As for teams stronger than late 5-star Do D, they typically choose the yellow tokens. The tasks tied to the yellow tokens are much more difficult, like retrieving specific items from certain locations. Even though the details aren't clear, you can tell from their faces that it's not going to be easy, the leader explained continuously. What about the red tokens? The red ones, well, they've kept the details a tight secret. I have no idea. Our team will be fine with just getting a yellow token. The group continued chatting. Ling Xian, do you know the specifics of this team competition? Xiao Yin asked Ling Xian, who was behind him. Now you come asking me? Even if you beg me, I won't tell you. Ling Xian puffed her cheeks in annoyance. Clearly, Xiao Yin had forgotten she was the little demoness of Earth Hall, the daughter of the Hall Master, and he treated her terribly. Xiao Yin scratched his head, realizing how useless his teammates were. He could already imagine how much trouble they'd be during the competition. I think the team competition will be divided into stages. We'll find out more once we receive the team tokens, Mu Yingying said. When Mu Yingying spoke, Ling Xian's pupils slightly contracted. Ling Xian had always considered herself extremely beautiful, but seeing Mu Yingying made her realize there were people more stunning in the world. If Ling Xian was like a delicate flower, then Mu Yingying was like a snowflake that hadn't bloomed in millennia. But when it did, its brilliance and allure were unmatched. Ugh, there are so many people here. Who knows how long we'll have to wait in line? Mu Feng muttered as he glanced around, complaining. There were thousands of people in the line. With such a massive crowd, it would likely take days to get registered. After hearing him, everyone else shook their heads in agreement. After all, they were in a sect, and cutting in line would surely offend others. I have an idea. Sensing that the other 4 in the group had no solutions, Ling Xian's eyes gleamed as she confidently spoke up. What idea? Xiao Yin asked, already suspecting her plan the moment she opened her mouth. Why do you ask so many questions? Just follow me. Ling Xian made a playful face at Xiao Yin before bouncing ahead of the long line, heading toward the front. What is she doing? Cutting in line? Mu Feng, seeing this, felt a headache coming on. This place had thousands of disciples. Was she planning to make enemies of them all? Wait, this might actually work. Xiao Yin didn't follow her immediately, but instead watched her actions closely. In just a few breaths, Xiao Yin noticed that with each step forward, Ling Xian greeted the disciples in line, and they responded warmly in return. Let's go, Xiao Yin said calmly. Without hesitation, the group of 4 left the line and followed her to the front. Hey, you there. How can you just cut in line like that? An angry voice called out as Xiao Yan's group took a few steps forward. Have you forgotten who I am? Just as little E was about to act, Ling Xian's voice rang out, teasingly. Oh, it's senior sister Ling Xian's team. Please, go ahead. The disciple's face turned pale as he recognized her and quickly stepped aside. Although Ling Xian was the Earth Hall Master's daughter, her strength and talent were also among the best in the Incense Pavilion. So many fellow disciples treated her with respect. If she were just average, they might not be so polite. But Ling Xian had terrifying talent, already at the mid-6-star Do D level at a young age. In the entire Earth Hall, the number of disciples who had reached the 6-star Do D level could be counted on 2 hands, and Ling Xian was one of the few who had reached mid-6-star Do D. Come on, follow me. Ling Xian confidently waved to the 4 behind her and walked straight ahead. Haha, look at the fine daughter you've raised. A hearty laugh echoed from a nearby building. This building was none other than Elder Zhu's residence, and inside, Elder Zhu and the Earth Hall Master were watching the scene unfold through a crystal ball. Because his daughter's actions were undoubtedly a slap in his face, especially since he was always preaching to his disciples about proper behavior, he felt embarrassed. Enough. Since things have come to this, let's prepare to head to that dimension, he said. After all, with so many disciples, it wouldn't be fun if other strong cultivators invaded while we're away. Elder Zhu remarked seriously. Let's go, he added. But I am curious to see how much my daughter will grow after this, said the Hall Master of Earth Hall.